What interested me most when I started Francomanca with Giuseppe Mascoli was this focus on ingredients and the raw materials. And nature has a wonderful way when it comes to fermentation. It's a form of creative destruction, allowing nature's enzymes to do the work for us, for example, which is in the case of sourdough, rather than adding enzymes or manipulating the chemistry. Those processes actually unlock far more complex and far more interesting flavors. And if we come in here, we were inspired by a pizzeria we'd come across in Naples that's famous, called Da Michele. They've actually just brought their concept to London and they've left it intact. They have 2 pizzas on the menu. One is a margherita with tomato and cheese. The other is a marinara, which is just tomato. That's the focaccia. That's ready for the oven now. Using the sourdough process allows you to hydrate the flour a lot, and because it, as I say, it encourages the swelling of the gluten. And the pizza dough needs to be hydrated in order to resist in some ways the burning, the heat, the intensity of the heat. So the overall texture improves because the dough is very hydrated, enabled by the sourdough, and the pizza oven is very hot. The bread operation essentially outgrew the hobby in a way of doing it in the pizza ovens at the pizzeria. So I built another 2 wood ovens, moved the bread operation, and started focusing on distributing sourdough bread, the same sourdough bread, wood-fired, oven-baked bread. And the business has just been growing ever since. So I just called it bread because that's all I wanted to do, was real bread that was no nonsense, the original deal. It's really strong. And this is the rye bread you're talking about. Yeah, it's almost like geology, 100% organic. We've done some tests with machines and we don't save much time with machines, because once you develop the skill, it becomes a process that's very, very fast, even though it's by hand. The sliced white Wonder Loaf bread process was developed as an artificial means of doing what nature does. Bread processed in 4 hours will never give you the nutritional value or the flavour that a bread produced in 24 hours will. It just doesn't. And in fact, since that process was developed, further studies have proved that the lack of enzyme activity and the substitution of mechanical action for natural fermentation has actually left a lot of the starches undigested. It's left, it's created problems with digestion. It's also degraded our gut in some way, which makes it harder to digest all food. I use a combination of different flours, wheat and rye, sometimes malt, sometimes we add spelt and ancient grains. Flour made from ancient grains are very, very, very tasty. I don't think we produce more than just over 2,000 pieces a day. Yeah, between Francomanca and bread, it has really been a journey about sourdough and fermentation. And my interest in the bread has led to me doing a bit more research on fermentation in general and its health benefits. It does take time to understand how to create value. It's a craft, but it's also a form of art. The mouth taste is immediate. This one has been left out, so you can see it's a bit more squidgy. This is a starter made with rye flour. It's also spongy, but it's much softer. And it affects your taste buds and your interpretation of the flavour. But the hand taste is something that's specific to the person who made it. The way they roll a cabbage leaf in a kimchi, the way they actually prepare things, handle things, and it can only really be described as the taste of love.